All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the OTOT Masterclass on Investing with Military Precision. Today is a Monday, July 6th. Hopefully, everybody had a good July 4th weekend, nice long weekend. And hopefully, everybody, if you haven't done your taxes, you need to bring that in your cross check. You have another few more days till the 15th to get everything done. Update on the podcast numbers are looking good from this weekend. Still have only 6 people in the squadron. I do have one person that said they were going to join us this morning. They're not here yet. But if they do, you might hear me pause and kind of bring them up to speed on what we're doing. As far as we only have 6 squadron members yet, that's still on me to get the word out and do better. 22 total episodes that are out there, and then 544 total downloads. So we're getting there. I was hoping to maybe crack the 1,000 mark, but I'm pretty happy with over 500. So can't be greedy. Things are growing as they should be over time. Okay, 3 objectives: grow our money, protect our money, and live off our money. Our topics today: data center REITs can either be for grow our money or live off our money, because most of these pay upward, close to a 5% dividend since they're a real estate investment trust. So they are suitable for growth portfolios when the data center space is a growth space, which right now it is, probably will be for a long time. And then it also has the big dividend, so you can hold it in a portfolio that's designed to generate income. As far as academic topic of the day, we'll talk about the self-employed IRA and some of the rules that go with that. As far as our flow, long, short, open, short, long, we'll talk about the market review. You've seen lots of green so far, and that's around the world green. Everything's on the way up. We'll talk about Warren Buffett in a minute, too. Headline review, of course, and then those are the 6 names we'll look at. The first 5 are actually individual real estate investment trusts in the data center space. And then SRVR is the appropriate cute name for the data center REIT ETF. So if you want to own everything and not try to pick best of breed, server is for you. We'll get into some day trading stuff about 10 minutes prior to the open until 10 minutes after the open. Then we'll transition back to the long-term stuff for the Q&A. If you have any tech support needs, steve@ototnow.com is the place to go. And standard disclaimer applies. This is financial education only. You have to do your own due diligence before you act on anything you see in this presentation. All right, with that, let's look at our year in review off the Think Pipes platform. Again, really focusing on the end of it, that channel there. You can see the channel. We have kind of held the bottom of that channel as it goes up there. And it's pretty much straight up all day, all week last week. A couple of those are red because they closed lower than they opened. But if you look at the overall trend, it's straight up. There's some talk this morning out about a S&P 4,000. Again, that would be represented by 400 on here. Generally, that's one person talking about it. The rest of us think the market's going to probably chill out a little bit. Maybe or may not see new highs anytime soon. But holding this channel is pretty important to stop it from dropping to the downside. All right, let's look at last week in review. Basically a straight up line, right? I mean, that's about as close to a line as you can get in the market world. And that's continuing on in today. So as I look at it, everything's up over 1% here in the US, almost 1.5%. Largely that was Asia based, which we'll get to here in a second. But that certainly continues. That would be a good sign. And if you go over to the calendar, I looked through all these names, not too many names I even have ever heard of on a Monday, which is common that no big names release on Monday morning. So there are some big names this week that we will be taking a look at, but nothing to talk about today. All right, let's bring it down to cnbc.com and we will go around the world. Obviously, you see our Dow futures there are in the green. Everything's up over 1%. We'll go to Europe. Everything was almost 2% up earlier. We'll see here, well, it's over 1.5% everywhere across the board, right? Going on into Asia that kind of started this. If you look at the Chinese market, up almost 6%. So the point there is when you have a big move up like that, because these markets, again, open around 9 or 10 Eastern on Sunday night, so I always check them. And it's just like, holy cow, that usually now, that's the dog that, the tail is now the European markets first and then the US markets, at least for Monday morning. So we shall see, but there's also other good news out there. All right, let's look at Friday's numbers. Barely in the green, and again, it was red from where it opened. On the day we were up big and it settled some, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that same sort of pattern today, where it opened up nice and high and then kind of settle in lower on the day, but still in the green, if you will. All right, and let's take a look at the bond, or the VIX is down at 25% there. So for bonds, up just a little across the board there. As you can see, oil is still holding 40. And then if you look at gold, all the precious metals are up and they're darn near their highs, to be honest. So a lot of folks are buying these into the election. So what's that tell you? When the market's up, bonds are up, and precious metals are up, well, that's that same situation. It's how in March everything sold off together. That's more of a money flow thing. So when you think money flow, let's go back to the main page and we'll talk about Warren Buffett. So being such a huge player in the space, not just due to his money, but due to his, due to his prowess as everybody's somewhat mentor in the investing space, it was of concern when March 23rd, I made the lock and load slide a day early. Other names were like, boom, you got to get in this long, and Warren Buffett didn't say anything. And in fact, he didn't say anything all the way during the big V-shaped recovery, or whatever you want to call it, because it has different names. But basically that huge move back up, which it was almost 50% off the lows. Didn't say a word, got all the way back, and it said, then he said, well, we don't find anything interesting to buy right now. It's just like, wow, could the greatest investor ever just have taken a total pass on the greatest move, the fastest move down in market history, and one of the largest recoveries in market history, and the greatest investor just sat on the sidelines? So a little bit of a concern there. But you talk about a money flow thing. So money's like water, it's got to go somewhere. So when it sloshes out of the market, all that money that sloshed out in March and it didn't come right back is still sitting there. And that's the issue. And that includes 137, I think, billion that Buffett has in his war chest, which is nice. But it's still not making anything. It's not doing anything for him. So that's good to see him off the sidelines now. And he bought Dominion, again, ticker letter D, large natural gas play, amongst some other things I do have in the book. So I do not know that, I could not find the details of the deal. And I want to say Dominion's floating around 80 bucks a share, and it didn't really move off of this. So it's probably right at the current share price is what I'm imagining. Deal should be out later today. So anyhow, so why do you see a bunch of green? Well, the big move up in Asia is kind of nice. And then secondly, Warren Buffett's off the sidelines. Is this the beginning of a buying spree? Holy crap. If that's the case, then it's going to be a big move higher. So, all right, let's talk about it. You saw Uber, you see the headline there. They bought Postmates. Again, they were looking at buying Grubhub last week. Well, gotcha, I see your trade there on Uber long. Here's the issue is Uber has said that they have their Uber Eats, but it's just a small portion of their overall business model. They wanted to go out and buy either Grubhub or Blue Apron or another, Postmates or one of these others that are in the food delivery service. And it basically an accretive move to be able to put that onto the balance sheet from there. They said the future is not in delivering people, it's in delivering foods. They want to do both. So kind of interesting. And they were so vocal about it, I'm sure they got overcharged the crap out of all these companies that that they wanted to acquire. So interesting move on their part. A lot of people try to stay quiet. Like, have you heard of anything out of Buffett ahead of this big buy of Dominion? No, you didn't hear anything. Probably got a great deal. So anyhow, Uber's not necessarily putting a showcase on how to buy something on the cheap there, in my opinion. All right, let's go ahead and check out some more headlines here. I'm not sure I buy the Warren Buffett bet on electric cars. However, I will say that Nikola, has a hydrogen or a natural gas car that's out there. So maybe that's where they're going with that. We're not going to click on it. Netflix got a nice bump up today, and Tesla has a price target now of 1,500, and it's up like 6% pre-market. If you saw Elon Musk, you can buy a pair of red short shorts for $69.42. He said specifically $69.420, and a shout out to his 420-degree price target on the stock, which got him in trouble with the SEC. So again, acting like an adolescent as the CEO of Tesla. Also, he was quick to respond when Kanye, which I don't see on here, announced his run for presidency in 2020 on Twitter this weekend. Elon Musk was the most notable name to hop in and say that he's got 100% full support. So Elon Musk in the news always, it seems. There's your Jeff Sout. He is a notable name that is out there as far as an analyst, and he's calling that 30% move, which would take the S&P up to 4,000, which would be a literally rip your face off move prior and going into a big contentious election. Not sure I buy that. Let's click the view more, see what the next part has. Becton Dickinson, that's BDX. They have a test that you get the results in 15 minutes. Been Kanye Ankerstar ticket. Oh my. Dude, I like the Trump West ticket. I think Trump West wins hands down. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm saying it wins hands down. And I know Trump likes to win. So the let's see, derailed my thought. Oh, BDX, Becton Dickinson. So I spent a lot of time this weekend with a pharmacist. We went over and had a kind of a family event and found out that it's the test results thing have been kind of getting your test results in a timely manner has been an issue. And that's what everybody wants right now is not just, we've got the tests galore. It's the how fast can I get the results? And there's a prioritized process for it to where if you're asymptomatic and you've just been exposed to somebody who has it, you may not get your test results for like a week. So it's kind of crazy. And you can't pay your way out of it. That's another thing is the pharmacist I work with was like, people are offering to pay 2 and 3 times. And he's like, well, I'm sorry. But that is not going to move you up the chain at all. So a 15-minute, obviously knowing the results in 15 minutes is very attractive. So that's the news on BDX. We'll take a look at BDX long, making some notes, and let's see, we got Uber, long, yep, okay. All right, so you have Citi coming out seeing a stalemate over the next 12 months. I don't think it'll be 12 months, but I do think we'll see a stalemate going through the election. All right, let's go down to the bottom and see if there's anything down here. And nope, one more. Yeah, this is interesting. And as far as millennials, I do deal with a few of them, not only as clients, but friends as well. And kind of the individual stock thing, it's largely Robinhood, but or in Acorns is kind of bringing the individual stock back into favor. And they're starting to see the, zero commissions, efficiency, I can trade in and out. So maybe that will mark a sea change away from mutual funds for sure, which have kind of, I can't call them left for dead. But if you're below 50, your mutual funds are left for dead. But index funds and an individual stock. So we'll see if that works. Okay, let's move over to the Schwab platform, Street Smart Edge. We'll talk about our long-term investing for the day. So as you sit back and invest, my favorite thing to do is to look for investable themes. That's number one. You put the investable theme in place, and then you look, what's the best way to play the investable theme? Is it best of breed individual stock, or is there not are there 2 best of breed like Home Depot and Lowe's? Almost a coin flip. Home Depot's got a little better leadership, but they're certainly better than the rest of the pack. Same with UPS, FedEx, and then there's the rest of the pack. So, but if you want to own the whole pack, you own the ETF. But you come up with the investable theme first, and the investable theme has to hold. And if the investable theme changes, then you have to change, okay? So the investable theme here is the explosion of the cloud, whether it's wasn't necessarily a work from home thing, but it's all of our data and information can go up to the cloud and it can be secure, which was the biggest concern when the cloud first came out is my stuff secure or is everybody else just going to take it? It's like, nope, it's absolutely secure. But then where does this data all get stored? Or when you think of somebody who's sitting back, anybody sitting in their house can be producing all kinds of content, say videos, say they go out every morning. So you could have a YouTube channel that is literally a month old that's got 80 some videos on, most of which are half an hour to an hour, i.e. me. And there's just millions of me out there producing this content. So where do it all go is the question. Well, it goes in these data centers. So when you think, I also have a friend that works in data center REIT design as well, and he was talking about the explosiveness of this field is he's in design, so he's working on the efficiency of it, on how to get more data in the same building and how to be able to cool it and get the power requirements required for all these servers, that kind of side of it. But basically, somebody like Facebook, where do they store all that stuff? Right. So they're building, you take, Nevada, where there's literally miles upon miles of open space, and you start putting up data center REITs left and right. So it's very explosive kind of space. The first three names there, DLR, EQIX, and Cone, are names that I have been in for a while now. I also have some bonds in these names as well, which are plenty safe because this business is not going away. And when you think that COVID-19 even hurt the business, no, but it hurt the stock. So this turned out to be buying opportunities. DLR didn't even come down that much. When you look at EQIX, it was above 600, went down to 500. That's what, a 14, 15, 16% move down. Not huge compared to the rest of the market, right? That was down at that 35% overall, and then some were even affected more than that. And then they're already back to new highs. DLR isn't, but EQIX is, and the others are all pretty well touching new highs across the board. So the first three I consider the best of breed. I can't make a determination between any of them, so I buy them all three equally. I've stayed out of CoreSite Realty and QTS Realty just based off of my self-study. Have not seen anybody who's really hot on those two names versus the other five in the space. So that's what I have for you there. All of them are still paying their dividends. All of them, they're doing great in earnings. So none of them are really affected by COVID-19. And if you get down to the bottom, you have your ETF, which really has been kicking butt too. So that's another thing. I found this morning. I should have probably looked before, but I like individual names. But gosh, with a move like that, that's pretty safe. So maybe I'll switch over to just using Server. Server has a couple of plays inside of it. It's got the data center REITs that we're talking about, but it's also got some of the 5G plays that are in there. So think Qualcomm, American Tower. So there's some other names that are in there that I also like to hold. So maybe hitting Server up for a larger holding will be something I'm going to take a look at. Okay, let's switch over to the next tab. Now, as I looked at here, I kind of flipped through everything pre-market. And I have, let's see, 8 names written down, and none of which are short. So, boy, good luck finding anything short here. Maybe something develops due to a headline news or something. As we look out there, you see NEO. We'll go ahead and pull that up. NEO has been absolutely on a tear. I have this in the book. I don't have nearly enough of it because I'm waiting for it to come in. I've been waiting for the price to drop since about $7, and I'm not getting it. So I may have to give up and say I missed it, which I don't like to. But if you were going to take a long play, again, NEO is the Chinese #1 EV vehicle, electric vehicle. And they're kind of emerging as best of breed. There is a slingshot effect when something is kind of commonly accepted as best of breed. I would rather say I missed it than try to buy here and then face the, when it resets 50%. So not going to touch that a whole lot. Let's see. Workhorse up on volume. It is not really gapping up a whole lot, but it's a name we talk about quite regularly. Let's click on Uber. Again, the Predator threw this on his trade and has to run this morning. So where are we? It closed at 30.68. It's up 33. Yeah, I think they overpaid. I don't know. I just don't know. I couldn't pull the trigger on this myself. Obviously, the Predator likes it. It certainly meets our criteria, absolutely across the board for a gapping up strategy. So we'll keep an eye on that. Doesn't get any money out of me. Plug is another long that's ideal. Let's pull that up. As far as the setup, it's kind of been on fire along with the rest of the EV folks and players. So closed at 910, up at 950 right now. So it's been up as high as 990. So kind of like that. I wouldn't take it for a day trade, but I do like it as an investment. All right, the FXI is another one. We don't need to pull it up. I just want you to look at the numbers there. This is the China one. So you'll see this often, a China big move up in China, and the country specific ETF, which FXI, I think there's an EW, I think it's EWC actually, makes sense, is another one that's out there that follows China. So obviously that's a move up. Nothing you can trade though. Let's go to the next tab. Tesla gapping up again. Price target, it's at 1274. Go ahead and click on that, bring it up, see what the high of the day. Yeah, it went up to 1280 is about all. So closed at 1208, it's up 70 some bucks. So that's about a 5% move up. So pretty significant move up there. I can't, my opinion, so I just have to say I'm wrong and move on. All right, Regeneron doesn't have enough volume yet, but it is a good story. They've got a new drug cocktail that they're talking about, so that would be some to watch. More of a delayed entry due to volume. All right, delayed. So let some volume rush in, and that thing I could see going higher. I probably take that myself, actually. Trade Desk is another name, not enough volume to trade, but that's a long-term name out there that is good for long-term investing. All right, let's look at the decliners, see if we can find anything at all. Okay, the China yin and yang, yeah, how dumb is that, right? So the tickers for China long, yin, I think it's yin. And then yang is the opposite. So that's why you see the yang down big when the market's up. There's our Dominion down there. It's got the volume. It's down a little bit. So 80 bucks. Maybe the offer is right around 80 or so. Really nothing that I would take a shot at here for the downside. Okay, let's look at the next tab. There's Neo again. UGAS is going away, so I'm not touching that. But again, natural gas is going to be affected going higher based off of the Dominion buy from Buffett. Some mortgage names in there. And you have Uber down at the bottom, up almost 8. All right, let's take a look at the next one. Yeah, click on them. I don't know what they do. ARO. See if we can determine factory expansion up to 600 EV per month. Austin, Texas. Well, that's kind of interesting right here. Light duty, emissions free electric vehicle. Expansion in Austin, excuse me. Never heard of them. Up 53%. I'll put them on the watch list. Nothing I would really touch, but certainly an interesting price point, right? Down at $5. That's a good one. You can pick up a bunch of shares on. See if you can make something happen. Overstock.com, OSTK. Let's bring that up. This has been on fire, pretty much a straight move up in the past, what's that, now almost 3 days from 28 up to 38. I can't remember. I think they crushed earnings. So anyhow, we'll take a look at Overstock long. It's kind of moved too much for my tastes already. All right, let's bring that down and go up to setting up our TD Ameritrade screens. All right, let's set up Uber on the left there. All right, just checking those out real quick. BNLK was up 20% this morning. It's not up 20% anymore, but still up on the day. Again, now another name that would be long, and then LKNC. Why I do expect, here's an interesting thesis while we have a second here, is when the market goes up over 100%, stocks that do not trade pre-market, are they automatically going to face a pop up at the open of the market? You would think yes. And then secondly, if you were to put a market order in at the opening, you could potentially get that and capture that entire move if your shares fill. But then again, a lot of others may have that strategy as well. But yeah, that's something we'd look for out of Luckin this morning. If they do open at 285, I'd imagine it's above 3 in a heartbeat, just due to the overall market as it opens up for trading there. All right, so we have overstock.com, and to the right, again, that is a long. All right, I see burners in on that. $0.20 stop on a, yeah, both you guys have pretty close stops there. Good luck on that. Can't really move it back up at all with that sort of a stop. All right, let's see. I was going to look at Regeneron long, so let's put REG in the middle. Again, delayed entry. So it's 643. $6 stop would be 1%. Don't really like that entry. I'd have to go all the way down to 637. Pull up BDX. And back out just a little bit. And back out a little more. $230, $246. I like BDX better long, so I'll take BDX. Long. $2 drop, 250 is 1%. You can focus it back in. Close. All right, so pretty much at the low right there, 254 would be nice if it opened there. I'll use a $2 stop. I'll take it at the open, out at 3 minutes. So really, I think this thing's going to pop at the open, so I'm going to get out by 3 minutes. So that's my trade there. Not a common trade for me to think that I don't want something to continue to fill. But with the market up as it is, I do think the market kind of rolls over and comes in, not necessarily into the red, but certainly not up as much as it is pre-market as some of the reality comes in. You can see off to the left that the SPY is already starting to fade in, so that's going to work against our longs. I still do think, though, the money comes in, rush into our longs. Just I'm not going to hold it for very long personally. So we've got in at 2, out at 5 for the Predator, in at 2, out at 5 for burner, and then the LKNCY in at the open. I'm just writing this one down. I would take Luckin right at the open, and then I would be out. Let's see, I would take it with a 10-cent stop. So if you're paper trading and you're looking for a second trade, go ahead, and I would keep an eye on Luckin this morning with the 10-cent stop. 2 reasons: Chinese market up huge and the US market up huge, and LKNCY does not trade pre-market. Actually, I'm going to kill my trade, so do I have time? 40 seconds. Nah, I'll stick with my BDX trade. I'm starting to like that LK trade even a little more. All right, so we're in at 2 minutes on Overstock. Let's put the LKNCY in the right hand. So I'll come back to your burner by the time it's yours. I just want to watch it at the open. Again, looking for a pop long in the open in Luckin there. All right, 15 seconds. Here we go. As far as drawing, mine will be first at the open with a $2 stop on BDX. Would love if, yeah, get down to 250. Yes, please. All right, great entry for me. All right, 248.42. I got $2 from their low. There's your luck and popping up from 289 to almost 3, almost instantly. That's kind of what I was thinking would happen there. All right, so I basically have to hold the bottom of the chart on BDX. I do think it goes back higher. The market actually is in the green there a little bit from that first bar. That's kind of nice. Uber's coming in some. We can zoom in on Uber. Thank you, sir. So that could be setting up for a nice entry. And we can get rid of Luckin on the right side. I just wanted to see that. I bet you that by the time we check it out again, it's going to be up over 3. All right, Overstock, actually, that helps you coming in like that. Okay, first minute is down behind us. So I'm in the red on my trade. I'm not even worried about that at all, though. Gonna be pretty good entries on Uber and Overstock coming in as far as it did. It's gonna be tough to hold that 20-cent stop, though. It'll be the issue. A lot of selling in Uber there. All right, 15 seconds till bar 2 opens. That'll mark our beginning of the trade in both these charts. All right, looks like 32.60 even there for the Predator. Yeah, he's got 20 cents, so he's off the bottom of the chart there. Yep. Looks like maybe 35.31, 35.30 we'll call it. So again, have down to 35.10 for that to hold on the right-hand chart. All right, I said I was out at the minute 3, so I've got one more bar, and then I'll have to keep an eye on it. And then we'll close mine. My trade's in the green right now. All right, Predator just busted out at 32.40. There's a 20-cent stop there. It's kind of like, still like that entry, just that was tough. It's tough with the stop that close. Looks like Overstock is working. 20 cents, 35.53 is 20 cents. So let's go, yeah, 35.93 would be the 35.90. That'd be your 3-hour move. Thank you. Reading my mind. All right, we're in minute 3, so I will get where this closes at the end of this minute for my out at 3 minutes. My R was $2, so we can just draw the 1-hour mark up there. It's $2. It's 248, so it'd be 250 something. 250.43. There we go. So I'm at the half-hour mark, and then that's all the way up to the 1-hour mark. Let's put Luckin in place of Uber since Uber continues to fall. Okay, it did reach up over 3, and now it's back to 295 or so. All right, my trade's getting ready to close out here in 2 seconds. So boom, my trade's out at the closing price. So nope, the closing price of the previous one, 249.26. 14, so 26 plus 57, 26, 57, 93 cents, 0.46 R in the green for me. So positive trade, but not a huge R number. We'll keep an eye on it. And let's put Blink up, BLNK. Want to see it well above 6. We shall see up to 650. I like that. Up 23% on the day. Again, this is the charging name. So when you think of names that go along with the EV space, you're thinking Plug Power and Blink. All right, got down to 35.10. Looks like it held though. Looks like it held by a penny. I'll give it that. All right, and then burners out of this trade at the end of this minute, out at 5 minute point. So another 20 seconds. All right, out at the top of that green bar there, so 35.53, so 23 cents. Is that right? 530, 25. So that is 1 point. So 1.15 R. So nice job. A burner is the winner for today in the green by over 1 R. That's very nice. I wouldn't be that excited about holding on to this trade here for long. I think when you look at the overall market, it's starting to do what I thought it was going to do, which is kind of give some of those gains back pre-market. So we can keep those two names up in that left-hand panel. Let's look at some other names. NEO was one. I'd be shocked if that continued higher. And I shouldn't be, right? Because it opened at around 11. It's up to 1160. So that would have worked by any day trade measure there long. All right, let's look at Tesla, TSLA. 69 to, it's actually a pretty tight range for Tesla. All things considered, up 5% on the day. Let's look at Uber long. We saw that fail earlier, see if it ever recovered. Yeah, I'm not sure it shows strength. I think it shows almost desperation / rookie move, the way they handled themselves going into that acquisition. Of course, they'll trump it as a success, but I didn't necessarily like it a whole lot. We looked at Blink, looked at Luckin. Let's look at FXI long. This would be continuation of the China. That would have worked if you took it long. Almost no matter where you got into the entry there, it only went down 8 cents, and then it's up over $1. I'm sorry, it's not up over $1. It's up 20 cents. So pretty easy gain there if you went into that on a trade. FUTU is a name we didn't talk about, but this is a small brokerage account name that was gapping up. It's up 20%. So that would have worked long. That one's up about $1.80, $1.75 now from moving today. So that would have worked. BDX we talked about. Let's look at Plug, PLUG. Okay, 65. Yeah, it busted the 10-cent stop, but if you had anything other than the 10-cent stop in there, it would have held nicely and been a couple hour trade to the upside there. All right, let's look at REGN. I wrote this would be a delayed entry, so looking kind of at the 2 minute point or so. Nope, not really going anywhere. I think it's getting pulled down by the market. Let's try the Austin expansion firm, AYRO. That would have been a long, so anything taken at the beginning would have been busted out, but look at it now. Up 55% on the day. So again, $5 is that magic point to where there you got your 3-hour move out of overstock, by the way. So if you put the limits in and walked away from it, you would hit your 3 Rs. Very nice. Up over an R in BDX, but I wasn't patient. I wouldn't have held it anyway. Aeroscats have an interesting name. Let's keep an eye on that one for later. Okay. All right, that's kind of all the names I had written down here. Let's go ahead and look at the overall market to see how that's doing. All right, Neo at the top of the list, BLNK, yep, 20, Luckin, 18. So good, because those are some recent purchases of mine, BLNK and Luckin. Looking up 20%, that has to put it up around 315 or so. You should let me put Luckin on the screen over here if you would while we're talking. All right, Tesla up, Baba up. That's not a name we talk about. So Alibaba, obviously, that's a long-term theme. That is the Chinese version of Amazon, and has great long-term potential. Okay, Luckin's dancing around $3, $2.99 right now. There, it just hit 3, up 14%. So what's the difference between these two numbers? They should both be live. The raw is matching, but it's the percentage move up that's not matching. So, yeah, the raw number is accurate. So I'd go with TD Ameritrade here. All right, Clickstream up 10, Tesla up 5, Baba 5, Trade Desk 5%, Prudential's not a name you hear a lot, 3%. Hero again is your esports ETF, and followed closely down 4 lower by Espo, up nicely. Pretty much everything's still up, even at that move down at the beginning. Let's go ahead and take a look at the see what we have in the red. Not a whole lot. Nicollet in the red. That's interesting. There's got to be a reason for that. So I'll look for a headline. That and Workhorse. Those are, again, some long-term names. So might give us an entry there for adding to that long-term. And Facebook and Intel slightly off. All right, we can go back to the green. And go back to the long chart. There we go. Look at that move up in overstock. Wow. Wow, hung in there by 1 penny at 35.11. Very nice. So 20-cent stop was just enough, and then up 35. So that's a 5+ R move. So pretty nice. Okay, let's look at our long-term topic of the day. Let's bring up Investopedia. Talk about the SEP IRA, and this could be applicable for folks if you have your own business. And even if it's a side business, you can set up a SEP IRA. So you have to have a business entity out there. You can't just do it because you're an independent contractor. But if you set up an entity, so either a doing business as a DBA, which is your most simple, register with the county, generally takes $40, something like that, or an LLC, which is going to cost you a couple hundred. But then again, you have a full structure out there. That's how my businesses are both organized as sole proprietor LLCs. So you set up your business, and then you can take care of yourself. Again, the reason for this is the IRS did not want entrepreneurs to be penalized for not having a 401k option, since that's what, so, back in the day, everybody had a pension. Pensions went away, replaced by the 401k. Problem, entrepreneurs don't have the 401k option. So this is still in that space. And it's really pretty generous. Go ahead and scroll up a little bit to the key takeaways. To set this up, you have to fill out one form. You keep it on file with your business formation documents, where you get your EIN from all the stuff you need for your Schedule C. So that same folder, throw the one form in there. It's like a SEP 5305 or something that you put in there, and it declares that you are standing up an IRA within your business. Now, as far as the money flow, the money so when money comes into your business, it needs to be paid to the business, not the individual. So checks need to be made out to like Afterburner Financial or On Time On Target, comes in, and then instead of, say, On Time On Target paying Steve, the individual, On Time On Target, the company, can pay into the SEP IRA on behalf of Steve. So there's a difference. So if the money comes all the way to you, you can't turn around and gift it back to the company to put in your IRA. It has to go to the company, which is why you need a business bank account to keep it nice and clean for the IRS. So if you're cashing checks into your own bank account and you stop doing that, stand up a business bank account, so that's where the checks are cashed, and then your owner's draw comes to you as salary or income, or however you want to say it, and the SEP IRA comes from funds and goes into your IRA in your name. So with that, let's see, it's significantly higher. It's up to 25% of your income. So literally you can put up to like $50,000 in these things. We'll get to that on the IRS page. All right, you have to have a little bit of income, yes. And then you see at the bottom, it's why they were encourage retirement benefits among those that don't normally have them. Now, these are traditional. So you face all the challenges where you get the benefits as well as the challenges of the traditional IRA. So you get the break up front and then it grows for 30, 40 years. And then when you take it out, you get taxed on the back end. There is not a Roth SEP IRA version. I do not expect one to come out. Okay, let's look at the IRS page. So I always like to go source documentation. Investment TV is nice, but let's check out what they have to say. Available to any size, 5305 SEP is the IRS form that you basically fill it out and put it in there. You're vested immediately. It doesn't have to be set up for 3 years like some others before you can actually fund it. It gives you an example there, which I'm not going to read to you. Let's go ahead and slide up. Okay, that's good enough. Yeah, I don't see the limits here exactly, but the it's generally up to 25% of your pay up to the annual exclusion of like $59,000. So yeah, there we go. Literally, you can jam a ton of money in these things. So consider that if you are in the self-employed business, or if you have a side gig, you'd want to take a look at that. Okay, let's go back to the chart for our trades. Overstock continues to run long. That's a 6-7 hour trade by now. BDX kind of done, rolled over. Arrow, let's put a LK, let's put Luckin in there, back down to 290. So it's sold off some. Off of being above $3, I think that'll walk back up. And then the left one, let's put BLNK. Was up 20%, now it's up 18%, so it's some profit taking there. So, all right, that's what I've got for you today. I don't see any more questions, so I'll let you go a little bit early. And with that, we will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.